Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our session where we'll be talking about unlocking and preserving value in your move to the cloud. So, as a reminder, any future-looking features and functionality which may come up for discussion in this session are covered under our safe harbor statement. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself and the team. So my name is Piotr Flasiński. I manage a team of product managers responsible for the platform tooling product area at Guidewire. I'm here with Zihan Rahman, who is a senior product manager responsible for advanced product designer. Vignesh Suresh, a senior product manager working on cloud updates. And last but not least, Krzysztof Szczurek from my team, a product manager responsible for the CI/CD tooling on Guidewire Cloud Platform. Let me start with our agenda for today. So I'm starting with a short introduction right now. Then me and Krzysztof will talk about an initiative allowing you to use your testing frameworks and integrate them with quality gates. Zihan will talk about converting PolicyCenter product lines to the APD app. Vignesh will explain how we are streamlining our cloud updates. And at the end, we will summarize the key takeaways and allow some time for the Q&A. But before we get started, I wanted to take a look at the main key takeaways we want you to remember after this session. So first, we want you to remember that you can preserve your testing investments by integrating the third-party test results with our pipelines. Secondly, you can reduce the IT complexity and costs while modernizing existing product lines without the need to migrate the data. And again, last but not least, our cloud updates have become smaller and easier to adopt. So, our first product area we want to talk about today is a new capability allowing you to integrate various external testing frameworks with the new mechanism called quality gates. Let's first take a look at the context of all of this. So migrating to Guidewire Cloud used to require our customers to adjust the way their IT departments work and what tools they use. This included using a source code management system, Bitbucket in our case, a CI tool, TeamCity, and Guidewire testing frameworks. We wanted to make it easier for you. This is why we have built Guidewire Cloud Console, a tool that offers a lot of self-service features and exposes an abstraction layer, allowing you to manage Bitbucket and TeamCity configuration, create schedules, and so on. And then, based on the feedback received from you, our customers, we understood that this is not enough, especially for those customers who have invested a lot into their current IT ecosystem Guidewire is just part of. Let me hand it over to my partner in crime, Krzysztof, who will tell you more. Krzysztof, over to you.
Thank you, Piotr. Hello, everyone. So nice to be here, speaking to all of you. So I want to tell you a story about how we grow and learn with you in our journey to make sure that we can support you in the end-to-end process with our CI/CD tooling. So today, we have a lot of different capabilities in place, but actually we also know that we can support you even better. And we listened to your stories, we listened to your needs, and we understood that every one of you is different. And we want to give you even more flexibility than today to make sure that you can achieve success with our tooling. And that's why we know like, one of these areas in which you differentiate from each other is the testing area. And that's why we decided to introduce, So we know that in the testing area, every one of you have different testing investments, especially those one of you that was with us during our on-premises times. So on-premises, you invested a lot into your own testing resources that will solve your own testing case that is different. And we know that migrating those resources to Guidewire Cloud can be challenging. And we want to help you with that. So we decided to introduce a framework allowing you to integrate your existing testing resources with Guidewire Cloud CI/CD pipeline in an automated, efficient, and scalable way so that your teams, your developers, can focus on things that matters, on serving your customers, on fulfilling your business needs. And how we want to achieve that? So how you can integrate your own testing with our CI/CD? So our approach is based on 3 foundations. And starting with the last one, quality gates. We are introducing an option to create a quality gate, allowing you to make an informed decision whether the artifact should be progressed in the pipeline or not. We want those quality gates to be integrated with your own testing pipelines that are hosted outside of Guidewire Cloud. And for the whole process, in order for the whole process to be automated, we decided to expose a set of CI/CD notifications, programmatic notifications, CI/CD events that can act as triggers for your external test pipelines. And to visualize the flow, we are supporting two different levels of quality gates today, pre-merge and pre-promotion. So the whole flow starts with a notification, with the CI/CD event that we are exposing to you via app event webhooks, existing Guidewire application. So we are supporting different events related to Bitbucket. We are supporting events related to ISApp deployment, but also we are supporting events related to TeamCity, build lifecycle, and build promotion. So we have the wide range of events, and you can choose from them to make sure that your specific use case will be fulfilled. Then there is a second part, a black box from Guidewire perspective, a moment when you are responsible for running your tests in your own way. And this is great because we are not limiting you in any way. So we have the full flexibility to orchestrate your own testing in your own way. And lastly, you can propagate the results of your tests via API back to Guidewire Cloud Platform CI/CD tooling so that we can show you the information about the test results in the build promotion UI or in Bitbucket. And also, you can set up the quality gate and will automatically block merging operation or block promote operation based on testing results. And before we jump into the demo, I just quick slide about setting a proper expectations. So we are not providing you with any resources to run third-party tests, and also we are not setting up any direct connection to Bitbucket or TeamCity. It is because we want to give you the best level of flexibility we can to make sure that you can orchestrate the test in your own way. So now, let us jump into the demo. The demo was recorded in Guidewire Cloud Console, but we are migrating to Guidewire Home. You can check it out. It's great. Guidewire Cloud Console will be available until the end of March of 2025. And then the Guidewire Home will be the only place of access to these new features. You can find quality gates under the CI/CD menu, under the tab Quality Gates. And let us set up the quality gate for Billing Center. When you are setting up the quality gate, you need to provide some additional details, like name, like ID. It will be used by APIs. Of course, you also need to provide the application, the stage, and the description, which is optional. You can use it to have a better visibility and transparency into your testing pipeline. And as I mentioned, we are supporting two levels, so before merging and before promoting. And in the before merging gate, you can also decide if you want to limit the quality gate per pull request to the target branch. And you also need to put in some testing details. It is because we want to make sure that you will be able to somehow group your testing suites to provide you with this better transparency. Now, the quality gate is set up, so let us move to Bitbucket. Here is the pull request that was prepared. And as you can see, we cannot merge the pull request, because the successful build of static checks for Billing Center for the latest commit is required. And now, we also set up another quality gate for pre-promotion for Contact Manager. And we would like to show it to you how it looks like in the UI of build promotion. So let us search for Contact Manager builds. And as you can see, there is another column. There is a new column, quality gates, which can have one of three statuses, passing, pending, or failing. And there is also a quick view in which you can check out the details related to your quality gate. So this was the demo. This is how it looks like in Guidewire Cloud Console. And now, to summarize everything that we've shown you today, I would say there are two tracks of values. There are two different ways in which your business can benefit. So first of all, there is this value from business perspective. So with this new feature, you are able to retain your existing testing investments so that you can fully benefit from Guidewire Cloud without being worried about taking a potential step back in terms of your technical implementation. And also, we know that many of our partners have wonderful testing offering for you. And we believe that this testing offering can be integrated with Guidewire Cloud Console in an easier way. So that we believe that this can be a starting point for building a stronger relationship between each other. And there is also a value for developers. So we believe that with this new feature, it will be easier to code with our CI/CD tooling. All of the quality tooling will be in one place, so it will be transparent for your developers. The developer experience will improve, and also the context switching between our cloud and your external cloud will be reduced. So that was all from my side. I would like just to quickly mention that it's not all that we are doing in the area of providing you with a better flexibility. We are working also on Bring Your Own CI/CD initiative that is currently in the discovery phase. And if you are interested about that other initiative, please just come to me after the meeting. And now I would like to introduce you to Zihan. She will introduce you into a new great capability that we have in APD.
Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. Great to have you. And I recognize that we are essentially in between yourself going to the tailgate party. So hopefully you find a lot of this content useful. And if you've been in any of the other APD sessions, you may have already seen a preview to this. Now, before we get too far into this, I would love to get a show of hands on how many of the folks within the room here are on-prem. Show of hands. Okay, awesome. And could I get another show of hands on who are thinking of actively transitioning to leverage APD and manage their lines of business in APD? One. All right, couple. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. So hopefully this will be relevant. So when we think about the Guidewire journey and we trace across time, we see that Guidewire has established itself as a cloud company, but at its core, Guidewire's transformation has not been successful, and it does not end until each of our customers and partners reap the value to transform their own business. And so there's a strong promise on cloud, and the goal is to truly help you realize and measure it. But there's an opportunity cost associated to the time and effort. And getting there may not always seem trivial. And so one of the key questions that us PMs are often asked time and time again is, when will this get easier, faster, and cheaper? Now, some of the sentiments that we've heard from customers when engaging in customer conversations is the feeling of being left behind, or still not knowing how to adopt capabilities at speed. And even more so, on-prem customers want to know how they can adopt APD before they even start their cloud transition. And so in response to a lot of this feedback and understanding this problem space, as of Kufri, we've launched an early access program. And this particular program is intended to be a one-time process to convert your existing PolicyCenter lines of business to be APD compatible. Now, as you go through this process, we will also generate the cloud APIs to enable use of Utro, integrations, and any other cloud capabilities that you're interested in. One of the fundamental principles underlying this process is that there's no data migration or product refiling required. Now, as you may have seen in our keynote a few days ago, the vision for this is to really optimize the automation tooling such that it eventually gets into a cycle time that is much more streamlined. As of now, we anticipate for any given line of business approximately 6 to 8 weeks to go through the full cycle. And so what does this full cycle entail? It starts off with understanding your existing configuration, how you've implemented it, going through the reverse engineering process, which leverages the automation tooling. Finally, doing code gen and transforming your PCFs so that your PCFs understand rules that you would build out through APD. And finally, going through a validation and testing phase. Now, I do want to highlight that this process is a developer-led activity. It's intended for developer personas. There is IT work involved. And so to that extent, we are offering this in a service capacity. So as you engage with us in early access, you will have Guidewire professional services right with you, supporting you through all these steps. And in turn, we're able to take your feedback to really optimize the tooling further. And so let me take you through where we're looking to take this in the long run. So as of Kufri, we've launched early access. We have a couple of customers that have registered. CNA was our first trailblazer to complete their conversion of their workers' comp line. As of lostliness, which will be available December 6th, we are opening up registration for a couple more customers. And the target really is to look at any lines that are based off of out-of-the-box templates or even any custom lines. And finally, we're looking to take this generally available as of Niseko release, which is August 2025, and have this open for all customers across any line of business. Now, I do want to highlight that SPT lines are not in scope for general availability. It's a common question that we get time and time again on can we convert SPTs? And the reality is that SPTs stand upon really complex frameworks. And so at this point in time, SPTs are not in scope for conversion. We still recommend the path of cloud retrofit for SPTs. So what that means is if you choose to retrofit any of your SPT lines, you will be able to generate the API endpoints that allow you to access Utro, IG, submission intake, etc. The next evolution as we go into fiscal 26 will be focusing more on SPTs and conversion of them. To bring this back to core objectives, why is this important? The landscape that you all are playing in today is quite complex, and it continues to get ever more complex, even more so as Guidewire evolves. And so when we think about the perspective of an average insured, the average insured is also up against a whole slew of risks, advancing technology, inflation, natural catastrophes. And so to that effect, the average insured expects better products and better experiences. And so to that extent, what we hear carriers say is, well, key customer objectives or business objectives include reducing the total cost of ownership, being able to personalize existing lines of business, being able to expand to new distribution channels, and increase operational efficiency. However, on a micro level, they're up against key challenges on how to build faster, cheaper, easier, and macro challenges as well, as there are several countless competitors out there as the market moves towards interconnectivity. A good analogy that I can give you is up until this time, it often felt like when you get to cloud, it's still unclear on how to adopt those key capabilities. As of Kufri, we've been able to bridge that gap. And so effectively, you are crossing that chasm with these pathways in place. Now, I do want to spend a little bit of time in highlighting CNA because a lot of the experiences that we've seen them go through has been a telling sign of what the experience will be like for other customers, whether they're going through a personal line conversion or commercial line conversion. One of the key takeaways that we've seen is that transforming the PCFs actually are a big time sink. And one of the feedback points we've received is that if there are ways that we can automate the PCF transformation, that can make the cycle time even better. And so we've been able to take that feedback right in, and that is actually something that our teams are focusing in on. Finally, I want to close off with putting a plug out for registration being open for Los Linas. We would love to have your participation if you're interested, and you can also find me if you have any particular questions. I would love to hand it over to Vignesh for our next topic.
Thank you, Zihan. That was super insightful. Hello, everyone. My name is Vignesh, and as Piotr mentioned, I'm going to talk about how we are streamlining cloud updates, more specifically in the context of InsuranceSuite and Enterprise Engage. In the world of software, updates are critical. We all know that they are important, just not for new features, but for staying competitive, especially in the insurance industry. From what we know, our customers look forward to each new release that Guidewire ships. That's because every new release gives them technical currency, ensuring their system to be current, secure, and highly performant. And it also provides them a way to be cost efficient, opportunity to be future ready, and also provides them improved user experience. However, we also understand, due to the nature, on-premises upgrades has some challenges. They're complex, has large steps, often disruptive, and has manual three-way merges. And that's exactly the problem that we wanted to solve in cloud. A few years back, we said upgrades are becoming updates in cloud. That was a commitment to make the cloud updates small, simple, and easy to adopt, empowering our customer to stay on the latest version as much as possible. And I personally feel that we've tasted some good success in bringing this vision to life. We started working on this vision right from our first release. In Aspen, we did layer separation. All the core files which are not meant to be modified by customers became Guidewire layer. And rest of the files which customers can modify became customer layer. This was foundational. In Dobson, we introduced non-breaking changes. This enabled us to make sure the new Guidewire layer that we build is always update compatible with the previous versions of customer layer. In Elysian, we introduced update pre-validation. This ensured that the new Guidewire layer is just not compatible with the previous versions of customer layer, but also compatible with all the customer configurations our customers have done in GWCP. By combining these three milestones, we were able to do release automation in Flen. In Flen, we were able to deliver a Guidewire layer updated branch to all our customers to their code repository upon a community ticket. All that the customer had to do was do a quick round of validation and adopt any new features that they want from customer layer if required and go live. In Innsbruck, we made it even better. We moved from a pull model to a push model, eliminating the need for tickets by automatically delivering the updates to our customer's code repository. This helped our customers to reduce the manual effort and any lead time involved with taking an update. In Kufri, we made Update Preview GA. Update Preview essentially provides an opportunity for customers to have a sneak peek into what's coming in the next release. It gives them the updated code base, preview of the updated code base, along with the draft release notes, so that they can proactively plan and do their testing activities before GA, 3 weeks before GA to be specific. And preview is available for all the customers starting from last Linas, and customers can enjoy the benefit of preview. With all the work that we have done, the continuous improvement that we've made, we were able to simplify the complexity of updates, and we have seen a reduction of adoption time from months to weeks. To put that into perspective, the last release for Kufri we delivered 200 plus updates on the date of GA. And what you've seen is that customers on average took 1 to 2 weeks for adoption of InsuranceSuite and 3 to 4 weeks of adoption for Enterprise Engage. This is phenomenal. And the reduction of adoption time has enabled customers to take more frequent updates. For example, Hassan and Seema from USAA quoted that the continuous improvements in update tooling has helped them to accelerate the update adoption, and also features like preview has reduced the adoption from months to weeks, enabled them to stay current and also explore new features that may benefit the business. And we see this trend across all the customers in cloud. Now, this is my favorite slide. How do we do it? It's a combination of, I don't think there's a secret sauce here. It's a combination of non-breaking changes, good old continuous testing, real-time issue resolution, and monitoring. So when Guidewire starts building a new release, from day one, we start testing the new release against all the customer configurations that we have in GWCP for updatability. On average, we execute about 50,000 plus customer update audits, and we execute about more than 1 million server tests that customers have got. So we've got multiple dashboards like the one that you see in the right, which helps us to monitor real time and solve any issues that may stop the customer from getting update on GA. With all these tooling, we are able to provide all the customers update-friendly and error-free release that they can easily adopt after GA. What's next? We know that we have made some good progress, but we also know that we're not done yet. So we'll continue to improve our testing investments along the side of updates, and we'll also work with customers who are facing challenges, try to help them to have a seamless update. On top of it, we're also working on making the update experience better. We are working on an update widget in Guidewire Home, which will improve the visibility of updates, provide more insights on update, and it will also have a lot of self-service features for customers to reduce lead time further. And also, I think 2 features that we discussed today, update preview and bring your own testing, can be powerful in combination. So update preview, along with bring your own testing, is going to let customers to test the update 3 weeks earlier to GA with the existing test investments they have. So it's going to let them to have an efficient way of testing before GA and help them to adopt update faster. That's pretty much what I had. With that, I'll hand it over back to Piotr. Thank you.
So thank you, Vignesh, for your presentation. So as we're getting to the end of this session, I wanted to again take a look at the main key takeaways we would like you to remember after this session. So again, first, we want you to remember that you can preserve your testing investments by integrating the third-party test results with our pipelines. Then you can reduce the IT complexity and costs while modernizing existing product lines without the need to migrate the data. And last but not least, our cloud updates, as Vignesh just explained, have become smaller and easier to adopt for you. I wanted to say a big thank you. And we can take any questions you have. Our mic runners will help us with the microphone. And if you want to reach out to us directly after connections, you can find our contact information in the slide in front of you. So we are open to any questions. My colleagues will answer them.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I got a question regarding the testing frameworks. So as far as we know, we are currently in the process of migrating to the Guidewire Cloud with Claim Center. And as far as we know, we have to use the Guidewire testing framework for the designated functions. Do we still have to do that, or can we replace it with our own homegrown framework? Because that's exactly our case, which you showed. We have a huge bunch of automated tests already, and we are interested in reusing it.
So it's a great question. And since Las Leñas, designated functions can be covered via GT framework or bring your own testing. So actually, you can just bring your own testing to fulfill the designed functions requirement.
My question is to the first panelist. In your first slide, you mentioned using the existing testing resources or on-prem test resources for the cloud migration. Testing can be challenging. Can you highlight what kind of challenges you meant by that?
From what we heard from the customers, actually, before Bring Your Own Testing, they needed to rewrite all of their test suites into GT framework. And now with Bring Your Own Testing, you can bring the testing resources that you have to Guidewire to GCC CI/CD pipeline. So this is how we want to solve it. So the challenge was, it will be a great cost to rewrite all of your test suites to a new framework. Now you still can use GT framework. We believe that there is a lot of value there, but it's a value-driven decision. So you don't have to, you can. And this is what we want to achieve. I don't know if that answered your question.
Actually, my question was more on the resources side, not on the rewriting the testers or the experience maybe. Can I use, because we just going to start the cloud, and my plan is to use the existing resources who worked on the on-prem because they gained like 5 years, 6 years experience. I don't want to let them go. I want to utilize them for the cloud migration. Is that a right approach, or you guys suggest like I have to bring in a SME or who already did the cloud migration, who is the expert, who already did like couple of cloud migration in their past life? What would you suggest?
So I would suggest to use Bring Your Own Testing. Because if you already have some testing infrastructure, so I assume you have some tool that is already hosted somewhere. Yeah. Now you can just use the CI/CD event. It will automatically trigger your tool. Of course, there is a need to write some automation around that. And then automatically you can put the result from your testing resource to GCC, and you will have that, like everything in one place. And moreover, if your external testing fails, then you will see the same result in GCC. And for example, the DevOps operator won't be able to merge or promote the code if your quality requirement is not fulfilled.
Okay, so it doesn't matter the QA resource has the experience of cloud migration already or not, right? It doesn't matter when they never worked on cloud migration in the previous project, right? It doesn't matter. So
I'm not sure.
It doesn't. I think it doesn't because as you can reuse your current testing frameworks and the test suites that you have written and you already own, you can use the same QA resources to maintain and develop your current testing frameworks and test suites and inject the test results into the pipeline using the feature that Krzysztof described.
I have a question on the update process.
Right.
So we are in the process of migrating to cloud. We started with Innsbruck, the technical upgrade was done. And we realized something as we went from Innsbruck to Jasper. We realized that the customer code, or it's the Guidewire managed code which is getting merged, but the customer layer doesn't get touched, meaning let's say there was a defect fix, a Jira fix went in. If you look at the out-of-the-box Jasper code, you will see that there is a fix in there. But when we look at our upgraded branch with our code base, we don't see that particular defect fix in there. So what is the recommendation from the upgrade team to catch those and make sure that we merge those in? Is it like we always have to do a second merge after Guidewire does the merge? Or can we look at the release notes? What's your suggestion on that?
Right, great question. So, you could obviously merge the customer layer if you're looking to take new features. But in general, we try to do a lot of these fixes in an automated way. So we have something called as update steps. So if we assume that there is something that has to be changed in the customer layer, which might impact or which might be a fix for an issue, we do it in automated fashion. Specifically, I'm not sure about the use case, I can follow up with you later, but if that is not covered as part of our automated tooling, so we should have that in the release notes. So we'll specify that what customers have to do in terms of fixing the issues or what they have to do in terms of taking new features. That should be covered in the release notes.
I'm interested in the different layers you mentioned before with the customer layer and the Guidewire layer and the code. How can I see it in Guidewire Studio, which is Guidewire layer and which is customer layer?
So as of now, we've been very conservative in defining what Guidewire layer is. Guidewire layer is normally all the data model, type list definitions, build files, studio files, platform libraries. So anything that is locked in Studio is essentially Guidewire layer, and we've put up documentation in our documentation site explaining the files that is part of Guidewire layer. So that should give you a fair idea. And we're also working on what we call as Bitbucket plugin, which we launched a few months back. And we're working with customers to lock these Guidewire layer so they don't accidentally make any changes to the Guidewire layer. So that should be the solution going forward.
And do I get it correctly that the type list and entity of Guidewire, that they are the Guidewire layer, and our extensions, sure, is our layer?
Right. So the type list definitions and data model definitions are part of Guidewire layer. The extensions are part of customer layer.
Okay, but this is as of today already, because the Guidewire files I couldn't change anyway. And
Exactly.
I would not have
Exactly.
liked to do that. But the Gozo files of Guidewire, which I see in Studio, do they belong to the customer layer, or do they belong to the Guidewire layer?
So specifically, I think most of them belongs to Guidewire layer, sorry, customer layer. So they could, whatever you could change before the PCFs, everything belongs to customer layer, and you can make those modifications. We are actually working with customers to see what things we can. We know that there are few things that lies in the gray area, so we want to get rid of that. So we work with customers actively and try to find a spot for those files. So as of now, there wouldn't be any impact. We've been conservative, and if you pass all the cloud standards that you have, so you might not have any issues.
Thanks.
Just a follow-up, because you mentioned about Bitbucket. Mm-hmm. So does that mean, is there going to be like configuration which can be different across customers? Because we have had that issue where, like, when we try to do something specific to our source code repository, we don't have the ability to do that. So is that something which Guidewire is going to provide, where I can have like webhooks or like configurations so it's specific to our tenant in Teams, in source control?
No, I think that is part of what Piotr has explained. So what I've explained was Bitbucket plugin, which is trying to lock the Guidewire layer, so customers don't have a situation where they accidentally modify Guidewire layer. But I think this question is more about bring your own
code repo. Yeah. So part of our Bring Your Own CI/CD initiative is focused on Bring Your Own Code repository. And right now, the approach will be that we will not extending our Bitbucket for additional webhooks, but we'll be giving some abstraction layer over our Bitbucket so that you can use your own code repository from your on-premises world. So whether it's Bitbucket, GitHub, or any other tool, you will be able to use it as you use it today and integrate with our CI/CD tooling.
And just to add to this, so today we already have a couple of features allowing you to configure a couple of source code management system on GWCP available via currently Guidewire Cloud Console. So we offer some customizations. I'm not sure if all of them are meeting your expectations, so we can follow up on exact needs here. But in general, we allow for some configuration using the abstraction layer we have already created, and that's already available to you to use. And going forward, as Krzysztof said, we'll be extending our offering by building this new offering of Bring Your Own CI/CD that Krzysztof just mentioned, that will like even allow you to use your own source code management systems.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a testing framework on-prem. We are running the functional test actually, so that may run overnight as well. So the quality gate triggers being pushed from the cloud, and then our CI/CD executing the test for overnight. Is that fine, or is there a manual way to trigger and schedule the quality gates every night? Is there anything like that?
It's up to you. The framework works in the way that there are notifications, you can listen to them, but you don't need to. And then when you are setting up the quality gate, it will be in this pending stage. So as long as you won't provide the results for the quality gate, you won't be able to promote. Of course, if you will set up the quality gate as a required one, there is also an option to set up the optional quality gate, which will be basically read-only. You will be still able to promote, but you will see your results. So yes, basically you can just like run your schedules in the night, and then you will see the results and make the decision if you want to promote or to merge.
Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Yeah,
It was
thank you.
our pleasure.